And my feet are messed up. What the hell was that? Hey there, so I've got the Type R here, and what a car it is. This thing is nasty. So I just drove it from downtown San Diego up to here, just 13 miles or so, and whew, yeah, this thing's awesome. There's a lot of little things to get used to, just like the shifter, and the seats are a little strange, but having a good time so far. So yeah, I'm gonna take this thing up to my old testing grounds, Hellhole Canyon Preserve. The road that leads up to it is just incredible, such a good driving road. But I'm gonna cut out all the highway driving. This thing's pretty fast on the highway, but it's not that interesting, so I'm just gonna find a halfway point and start filming there. See you then. All right, so I've got another Japanese legend today. I had the Supra 10 days ago, and now I've got the 2019 Honda Type R, let's just call it that, the Honda Civic Type R. This thing is awesome. I'm so glad we have it in the US finally. First time since the Integra Type R, so that's great. So I'm going to my favorite spot, Hellhole Canyon Preserve. And the road leading up to it is so great. So I'm 12 miles away, 22 minutes. Let's see how we can do here. So I've had the car a couple hours, but I've just been driving on boring roads with it, getting my stuff ready and getting used to the car a little bit. And the car is fantastic. Overall, it's quite amazing. The power is a lot of fun. I wish my Juke had about 300 horsepower, that'd be great. But the limited slip differential, of course, is essential and wonderful. I wish I had that on the Juke as well. If I had the RS, I would. But let's put it in R mode. I assume R mode is better than Sport mode, so that's what I've been going with. This car has an aftermarket Borla exhaust. I assume just like the mufflers or whatever. And it sounds great. It's pretty loud, but not, it doesn't crackle and pop. The car's not tuned for it, I guess. But it sounds great. The owner says the stock exhaust is just simply too quiet on these cars. So the handling, of course, is fantastic. I can't wait to actually get on some roads and try it out. I've hardly been able to take it through any corners at all, but what I have done has been very impressive. So I'm always complaining about steering wheels, and today is no different. Overall, this wheel's a good effort. It's not bad, but it's very similar to the wheel in my dad's 2008 Honda Civic, and I like the wheel in that car. in that application, but this one's too similar to that. It just does not have the right shape to it. It's fairly close. I'm mostly complaining about the 9 and 3 notches here. It just presses out into your thumb too much. It doesn't feel good. It's not comfortable, especially holding it for a few hours. And then the grip down below the 9 and 3, whatever you call that, that's not good either. There's too much stitching right there. It pokes your fingers. The shape of it isn't ergonomic at all. It's not designed to have your hands there at all. So that's disappointing, because this is a good driving technique, having your hands down here, doing a pushing motion. But it's got a slightly flat bottom. It's got the multicolored leather here. And one of my biggest complaints about it, the feel of the leather, or whatever it actually is, it's just not great. I've criticized other cars like the Tesla Model 3 Performance that had a similar, just kind of hollow feeling, not very authentic feeling fake leather on there. And you can't expect a car that costs like $37,000 or whatever this started at to have an amazing real leather wheel like a luxury car, but it's just not quite perfect. It's funny, all the crap I've talked about Alcantara steering wheels, I actually, I admit now that they are the best, and I was really stupid back in the day 2 years ago when I made my first video ever talking about how I don't like them, and I regret that, except it's gotten a lot of views. So the pleather on here, your hands just, I don't have sweaty hands at all, but just by holding on to it, your hands kind of just naturally stick to it a little bit, and it's not a great feeling. So I'm officially a fan of Alcantara, either Alcantara or real legit leather. But that's okay when you have this powertrain. The powertrain is obviously the highlight in here. Powertrain and the drivetrain. The 1-2 shift with this transmission, it's not great feeling. It doesn't encourage a fast shift, just like the Focus RS I complained about. It feels fine. Overall, the gearbox actually feels really great. It's a typical Honda ultra notchy short throw gearbox. This one takes it to the extreme with a very short shifter and the awesome little spherical round shifter. I like it a lot. Shift knob. It actually did grind when I first got into it, and I shifted like a normal person. Well, I shifted kind of fast, but it actually did make a little grind the first time I did the 1-2 shift. And it's not because I was shifting badly or not putting the clutch in enough. I just forced it a little more than it liked, I think, at the wrong RPMs or something. So the more manual transmission cars I drive, the more I love the transmission in pretty much all BMWs and in my Juke Nismo, because it feels notchy and feels nice, but it just flies into second gear. The 2-3 shift feels really good, and I'm sure the 3-4 does. So this car has tall gearing. I actually have to check again, but it seems to do well in excess of 70 at 3,000 RPM in sixth gear. Most cars do about 73 at 3,100 RPM, but this does a lot more than that. It's got some tall gearing, which is good. I had a lot of complaints about the Focus RS, but of course I loved the powertrain, and I loved it overall, but this thing is better than the Focus RS already, and it's front-wheel drive, which is just astounding. I know they went all out engineering this car to have zero torque steer and basically be the most well-composed, best handling, the best overall front-wheel drive car ever made. So yeah, they clearly did a great job. This car's got auto rev matching, and I've never actually really driven a car that has that, so it is cool. I like it a lot, and the fact that my dad and certain other people I know, they'll never figure out heel toe downshifts. They'll never figure out rev matching at all. Sixth gear is so tall in this, I bogged down and had to do a double downshift. I do have to get used to it. But yeah, the auto rev matching is a nice feature. I'm getting used to it. I keep rev matching myself anyway, but sometimes it beats me to it just a little bit, and I'm like, oh yeah, and I remember. It feels great. It actually is taking fatigue off my right leg. My right ankle is getting a little break. But I will say, the pedals are spaced just a little, just like a quarter of an inch too far apart. So not as bad as the Focus RS. I don't know why all these hot hatchbacks can't get the pedals in the right spot, but the pedals are a little wide, but it's fine. A little widely spaced. Oh, yeah, it does it right as you go into the gear, so it's great. Yep, I can confirm that the 2-3 shift feels fantastic. It feels great. And the shift knob is really cool. I've never used a totally spherical shift knob, and I like it a lot. So the road should be getting fun here. Got 13 minutes to my destination. Hope the cameras hang in there. They seem to be alright, I guess. You can never tell though. It takes some getting used to such a notchy, short throw shifter. The gates are like close together. I have to keep double checking what gear I'm in constantly, but it's okay. Ooh, there's a Stinger GT, I believe. Just a Stinger. E46. He was checking this thing out. Yeah, this thing has not much body roll at all, just the mandatory amount that you would need. It actually is really solid and pretty nice over bumps. I hit some decent bumps coming through the city, and it took it very well. Almost like a German car or something. The car weighs just over 3,100 pounds, so that's the number one selling point of this car. It's much lighter than a WRX and stuff. With no downsides of all-wheel drive, mainly the extra weight. Wow, it really rips in the top end there above like 5,000. You can feel the 306, is it 306, 307 horsepower? And 295 foot-pounds of torque, I believe. So I'm gonna try not to get in trouble today. Not sure what the speed limit is here. Front-wheel drive is just such a great thing. It gets nothing but hate from dumbasses on the internet who don't actually know. Front-wheel drive is such a simple, easy, fun thing. And why not put the engine and the transmission right in the front and leave it right there? And add a limited slip differential and perfectly designed like drive shafts or whatever, perfect length drive shafts to have everything just right. Yeah, I know they went crazy just overhauling the suspension and getting rid of any torque steer. Oh yeah, see, I forgot it would rev match for me and I did it myself. That's alright. Trying to pop my ears here. There we go, got it. Yeah, a little wheel spin, amazing. So much fun. My Juke spins the tires, but only because it has an open differential. It only has 200 horsepower, so when this spins a tire, you know you're kicking some ass because the limited slip differential is letting it spin. It's kind of loud in here. Maybe just a couple decibels noisier than my Juke, but it's not bad. It is a Civic after all, and it does have the noise levels of a modern Civic. Acura made a version of this car, that would be insane. A modern Integra, right? So it's a 40-mile-per-hour zone. This car is great to have a lot of fun at fairly low speeds. I'm just messing around in third gear, enjoying the turbo torque at a few thousand RPM. It's got some decent lag, but it spools up all right. I'm sure a tune and bolt-on mods would get rid of some lag pretty easily. It has a great sound to it. That Borla exhaust is very cool, and decent amount of turbo noises too. Yeah, the sound in the power band under some nice boost, it sounds really nasty. It really does. There's nothing better than a small engine making some good horsepower. Of course. Oh, so here I am. I took a different route than normal. This is where I usually complain. As you can see, I had to take it really easy on the 1-2 shift. I don't want to grind it again or force it in general. It does not like a fast shift on the 1-2. Maybe I'm just being too gentle with it, but I don't think so. Really nice noises. We got a little same road, same place as last time. I come up on a slow vehicle, but it's okay, we'll figure this out. Safety is my goal, they say. Well, me too. Oh, good. He's spinning around or something. Good. Thank you. Oop. There you go. See ya. Oh, what the fuck? What the hell was that? I'm doing a normal shift. Something is wrong with the synchro for a second or something. Luckily, the 2-3 shift is just fine. It's great, but I'm not going to do any more 1-2 shifts unless I'm really careful. How annoying is that? That's a big problem so far. And I'm not just ham-fisting it, I'm just going straight to second, and it's not liking it. Not liking it one bit. I like this turn. Yeah, this thing feels so light, so flat. It's got nice steering. I haven't talked about that yet. This thing has nice, firm steering and pretty damn good feel. I like to say that no modern cars seem to have much feel through the wheel at all, but this one does a pretty good job. It's fairly communicative. I can actually, I can feel the road imperfections through the wheel. It loads up really well when you go for it. It feels great. So while the steering wheel itself isn't perfect, it's not terrible, but the feel is very good. Seems like it has a quick ratio. It's fun. So this revs all the way out to 7, apparently. We're a little above 7 grand. That's cool. I'll have to keep that in mind. Damn right. I mean, these cars have a long legacy of high revving engines, so even since it's turbo, you still gotta let it rev a little bit. Just at least 7. That section there was cool. I wasn't ready for it. I was talking. Yep, I can say without a doubt, this is one of the most fun cars to drive. And that's the number one thing I say about the Juke Nismo. It is just straight up fun. And this might be even better. It feels great. The power is I like the power a lot. I would like to see how one is with bolt-ons and a tune and get maybe another 80 horsepower or something out of it. But just the fact that it can put the power down through the front wheels, it's such a good feeling. It's very reassuring. And speaking of which, I got some nice spin there from the right wheel. So cool. Google Maps takes you a different way every time, but this way is pretty good. This is one of the easiest cars I've ever driven. It's so easy to drive. It's because it's front wheel drive. It's got that great steering feel. Look at this gorgeous view. Wonderful. There's the sand. Watch out for that. So I do have to say, while these seats are very good, they're a little strange in one way. The actual seat back, towards the top of your back, it's like it's leaned backwards a little too much. It's like the seat bends back a little too much, and it's not quite right. It needs to be leaned forward a little more. Oh, cool! This is actually open this time. Let's go on up. I was easy into second gear, but I could feel if I forced it anymore, it would have ground. It would have grinded. It did. Yeah, you can really hear the gravel in this car. This car is a cool interior. It's got this nice pinstripe going around the vents here. It's kind of got the classic Civic interior with the elongated dash and the gauges that are kind of far away from you. But everything looks nice. It's a little hard for me to see the gauges the way I have this the seat set up, but I can't figure out how to adjust the steering wheel. So, or what the? Oh, there it is. I always feel kind of bad adjusting someone else's wheel, but he can put it back. He needs to have it in a better spot anyway. He'll thank me. There we go. I should have done that a long time ago. So yeah, the gauges actually are really cool now that I can actually see them. Only lets you rev to 3,500 RPM. What a joke. Oh wow. So the back seat in this thing is nice and spacious. Sitting behind myself, I've got good room. I did just notice the headroom is quite limited, unfortunately. I'm 6 feet tall, and my head completely contacts the ceiling. If I slouch down, I'd do a little better, but it wouldn't be comfortable for long. So these people are checking out my review. They should subscribe. But the back seat's pretty roomy aside from the slight lack of headroom. People a little bit shorter will have a fine time back here. There is no middle seat. There's a cup holder area, so it's a 4-seater. Interesting. Got the red seat belts all around. I've got the faux carbon fiber seat backs here, and looks really good. Looks the business. They're very similar to Juke Nismo RS seats, except of course the RS seats must be better because they don't have this ridiculous excessive curve to the back of it. It's very strange. It's like this whole upper part should be tilted forward just a tiny bit, a couple degrees, but it's not. It's tilted back. So when I'm sitting how I like to sit, my back just is not contacting the back of this, and it doesn't seem good. If only that little bit were adjustable. On a BMW or something really high-end, that type of thing is adjustable, but I'm almost certain it's not adjustable in this case. But overall, the back seat is a pretty good place to be, and nice material, and nice stitching back here too. Looks good. So let's try to enjoy these roads on the way out of here, shall we? This car makes it easy to enjoy everything, and I love it. So a couple of quick little notes. This interior is really good. I said a couple things about it earlier, but it's got this like faux carbon fiber trim all over the place, and overall it's cool. Yeah, it doesn't matter that it's not real. It looks good, and it's got nice Alcantara on the doors here as well, and nice soft touch surfaces on the armrest also for your arms and hands. Everything's nice. So, and everything's of nice quality, typical Honda. Everything is solid and well put together. If anything, they probably put a little extra love into these cars because they were probably excited to be making a Type R, so people made it extra sure to do a good job.
Please depress the brake pedal to release the parking
So yeah,
brake.
now that I'm talking about it, this thing has an electric parking brake, which, I mean, I'm not going to say it's the worst thing in the world. Whatever, they're more and more common these days. But for a sporty hot hatch, like the king of the hot hatches, a very sporty 6-speed front-wheel drive car, it's just a shame that no one will ever in the history of the car be able to slide the back end out in the snow. Well, not using the parking brake, at least. So it's kind of a shame, and I wish it had a normal one. It frees up the entire middle part of the car. Of course, it's a smart thing to do in most ways, and I'm just not sure how I feel about it. I guess I could live without it. I don't really need to be pulling it. It's a good bicep workout though. So, put this thing in R mode. Yep. Turn down the AC. Alright, let's go. Some weird vehicle in the road up here, or a person pushing a 4-wheeler. Ouch. Ooh, that's no fun. Maybe I can give him a hand or something. Oof. Damn, that's brutal.
Please fasten
Let's see if
driver's
I can give him a hand
seatbelt.
real quick. I don't know. Let's see what it says. Can I give you a hand real quick? Oh no. Oh my God. Oh my God. Whew. Okay, I helped. Oh man, my feet are messed up. I hope my feet are gonna recover from this.
I am never gonna.
Oh wow. Basically, I couldn't push with the flip-flops on. They just were not working. So I had to go barefoot. And I did fine for a while, but then there was a lot of tar in the road up there, and it messed my feet up bad. Ooh, my clutch foot is bad. It bruised bad. I'm gonna put my flip-flops on. So this has brake hold, and so if we take off the parking brake, brake hold is currently on. Ooh, cool. That's one way to do it. Little tire spin. Hopefully my stuff's still recording after all that. There he is. See ya. He made it. Alright, I'm catching my breath. So, this car. I do love this car. I love the feeling of it. It has a decent amount in common with my Juke Nismo. Just lower to the ground. And the visibility is very good, I've got to say. Yeah, just great visibility all around. The windows are large. It's just a very practical little hatchback. If you didn't know, it had 307 horsepower, 306 horsepower. Well, yeah, you would think it's a very useful little car with a gigantic wing on it and really nice fake carbon accents on the outside. The exterior styling of this car, I'll bring it up. It's cool. It's gnarly. You can definitely tell a Type R when you see one. Sorry, the seatbelt over there is rattling. Not much I can do about that. Yes. If there were 3 people pushing that 4-wheeler, it would have been a lot easier, but 2 is just enough. I thought that dumpster was a cop. You piece of garbage.
What a stupid piece of garbage.
Wow, sounds amazing in the upper RPMs. This thing is a ripper. This is like the Focus RS in that it's rev happy. It's not like a typical modern small turbo car. This thing can breathe a little bit. It revs to 7. I'll experiment with the red line later on. Look at these roads. Not bad. Lightweight plus decent power, front wheel drive, a great combination. Manual transmission too. 15-mile-per-hour curve up here. Let's see. Auto rip match. Love it. Yeah, this car is addictive. Having that traction up front and the awesome power to the front wheels. This is one of the most fun cars I've ever driven, hands down. It's so nice. I'll put my mount. Here we go. I'm not going to put that in the video. Yeah, I think I've got a huge blister on my left foot from pushing that damn thing, but it'll heal. The sound of this thing is addicting too. The exhaust was definitely a necessary modification. I'm glad it's there. Very good 4-cylinder noise. 2 liters. Sounds great. Well, today I got a lesson on why you should have shoes in case you need to help push a 4-wheeler or a car up a steep road. I've had this happen before, actually. I've had to push cars while barefoot, take off the flip-flops, but never on a hot tar road like that. That really got me. Oigy. love this car. The feeling of it pulling you out of the corner while you bounce a little bit, but it still puts the power down between the wheels. It feels so good. I had the Supra on this road a week and a half ago, and I was having a great time in it. And I'm having just as good of a time in this car in a totally different way. Pretty comparable power levels. Power to weight might be better in this car. I don't even know. Oh wait, no, of course it's not. The Supra's only 3,400, but this thing's light at 3,100. I've only gone through a quarter tank of gas. I expect to not use much gas with this car too. Typical Honda. Some of the most fun you could possibly have with a car. Well, I'm catching up. Yeah, I always knew this was an amazing car. I suspected that it was, and sure enough, it hasn't disappointed me at all. I'm not even complaining about the wheel anymore. It's fine, it's whatever. You could get an aftermarket wheel for this, or an upgraded wheel for like 500 bucks, I'm sure, and it would be amazing, and made of carbon and whatever. So what can I say about the brakes? I haven't needed to use them all that much. The brakes feel great. It's got the gigantic calipers up front with several pistons, I think. Fantastic brakes, it would seem. They feel very good. Just the right amount of firmness. A little heavier than the Supra, but lighter than a BMW. And yeah, the brakes feel great. Like no dead travel, pretty much. This car has 18,000 miles on it. Like half of that is just a highway trip that he took. And everything feels, all the driver inputs are pretty damn nice, aside from the small things about the steering wheel. The auto rev match actually keeps it exciting even when you're just doing mundane driving and you just do a normal downshift. It reminds you that this car is awesome. It is hard to hold on to this wheel though, it's just slippery. I'm so used to Alcantara or real leather. This material is just too slippery. Yeah. People throw around the word chuckable a lot, and this car definitely feels pretty chuckable. With all the front end grip and the lightweight and the fairly small size, just average little subcompact sedan, this thing feels fabulous. I want to take it on Mulholland or something. That's actually closed right now. I tried to go on the Snake last week and it was closed. I'll try to give these people some room and hit this corner with some speed. Nice view up here, very cool. Went too fast. Too much fun. And you know, because this is a Honda, you could drive this car at wide open throttle for hundreds of thousands of miles, and it probably won't even need like a charge pipe or anything. It won't even need an intake boot. It'll just need very basic maintenance, if I had to guess. Hondas aren't perfect. I mean, they're not Toyotas, but they hold up very, very well. Even though it's turbocharged, you get a fantastic 4-cylinder growl out of this car. I forgot to pop the hood and take photos. I'll have to see what the airbox looks like. This thing sounds great. I'm sure it doesn't pipe in any fake noise or fake resonance stuff, but we'll see later. We'll see if it messes with the GoPro footage. Alright, well, I made it down. Cameras are probably overheating. Here's my little parking lot where I pull over and do my shady things. Here we go.
Alright, time for the SAM score. Category: Powertrain. Transmission. It's a real shame this transmission doesn't function well from the factory. There are fixes, but what a pain. 2. Output. This 2.0 turbo puts out amazing power and torque even stock. 7. Personality. It sounds like an Evo and is fun, but nothing super special. 6 out of 10. Reliability. Besides the transmission, I expect the rest of this car to hold up very well. 8 out of 10. Category, chassis. Capability. This car is ultra light with amazing grip, but does still have traction issues. 8. Fun. The king of front-wheel drive, this car feels unbelievably fun and quick. 9 out of 10. Safety. This car has a nice modern structure. 7. Driver inputs. Pedal spacing, steering wheel design, and seat back angle get it 6 out of 10, even though it is all pretty nice. Category, value. Maintenance. Though it's a fairly simple Honda, the instantly problematic transmission gets this car a 4. Cost of entry. Like the Focus RS, these cars are marked up and highly sought after, and cost about 35 grand used. 5. Long term. Being such a special car, it's bound to always be appreciated beyond any other Civic. 9 out of 10. Fit and finish. Everything felt really nice in this car, with virtually no squeaks or rattles. 9. Category, styling. Innovation. Resurrecting a legendary namesake is difficult, but the Type R pulled it off and looks amazing. 9. Longevity. Though I love it, the wild styling may look dated in future decades, but will surely come back around. 5 out of 10. Wow factor. People really like seeing these cars around, and are happy to race you in it. 7. Personality. While it is a Civic, this car is extremely cool styling and is very unique. 8 out of 10. That all adds up to 109 out of 160. 9 points better than the Focus RS. Thanks and happy motoring.